Hello and welcome to Fashion Report Friday, the video series trying to get you the most MGP that we can humanly get from the Mandeville Gold Saucer every week on a Friday when judging begins for the Fashion Report minigame. This is week 281 and as you can see, the theme this time around is Fled the North. The clues then include Imperial Couture for our body, Near Eastern Nights for our legs, Moccasin City for our feet, and Allegan Attack for our earring slot. In this video we have a 100 score, an 80 with dies, and the easiest 80 we could put together. So let's get to that 100. Right, for the 100 then, as you can see, we look like an Imperial, and that's the entire idea of Fled the North. So the first item, unfortunately, is a level 83 chess piece. This is locked to 83, and no matter what choice you go for, you will need to use this if you want to get 100 score, which is a little bit unfortunate if you're a low level character, but we'll come on to that later. These can be any of the Imperial coats. These are of course dropped from the Tower of Babel, a dungeon located within Garlemald at level 83. So that includes scouting, aiming, casting, fending, maiming, striking, and healing. Those will all work for gold rating. For our legs then, I went for the Thavnerian tights. There are a couple of other alternatives. You can go for the Thavnerian Sarawel, and of course you can go for the Surge Sarawel of crafting or the Surge Sarawel of gathering. But of course those two might have restrictions, so you're better off with something that does not, such as the Thavnerian tights or Sarawel, depending on which you have access to. And then finally, for our left side, we have the hunting moccasins. It can be any moccasins in the game. We've had this before. Essentially, you can get moccasins from a variety of locations. One of the lowest level ones is probably the plundered moccasins, which you can get from low level dungeons such as Copperbell Mines and Tamtara and Sestasha. Alternatively to those, there are obviously anything that says moccasins, so we'll just list a couple. The New World moccasins will work, the Wolf moccasins will work, and let's say the Dalmorskin moccasins will work as well. There are many others that will work for this slot, but unfortunately it isn't this slot that's the problem. It's the chest. So finally then we have our earring slot for Allegan Attack. This is any platinum earrings in the game. You can get these from crafting, from a goldsmith, or alternatively the market board, which is where I got mine, and these are locked to just level 50. They don't actually require you to be a Disciple of War or Magic, specifically of any type, just a Disciple of War or Magic. So even if you bought the slaying ones, whatever one is the cheapest on your market board or to craft, it doesn't matter. You could be a healer and use those. It wouldn't matter at all. And that's the 100 score. Personally, I think that's a bit, well, crap really, isn't it? Considering we have to be level 83. So let's move on. Oh boy, moving on to the dies with the hope of them being better was very naive, wasn't it, of me? So as you can see, we have 3 metallic purple dies, which aren't particularly difficult to obtain, but then we've got 3 jet black dies on our chest, our legs, and our feet. So that's pretty poor, I think you will agree, unless you have access to these dies on stuff you've already died before. This doesn't, however, help new players or alternate characters of your account, but if your main has these bits died already, then you're easy peasy mode, aren't you, if you just have to pick up a few metallic purples. But not everybody is going to be in that situation, so let's move on to an easy 80 instead. Alright, so when we're looking at the easiest 80 we could come up with, obviously we're going to take what we learned from the best in slot dies and a few of the items, and we're going to try and combine as much of that we have access to. So if you had some things from the 100 that perhaps other people didn't, then you could combine that with some dies here. But what we're going to do here is, for a completely new player, this is what you'd be able to do. So get any set of gear on the left side that's dyeable. That's the first most important thing. Then we're going to dye our chest piece Soot Black. We're going to dye any helm Gloom Purple. any gloves, gloom purple, and any legs, soot black as well. Then we're going to equip a pair of moccasins. Now, any of the moccasins will do. I specifically have the hunting moccasins here left over. However, if you wanted a low-level alternative, please go to Tamtara Deepcroft, Sestasha, or Copperbell Mines, which is accessible very early on in the game, very low level, and get any of the plundered moccasins from there. I was going to say any moccasins, but there's only the plundered ones. Get those, equip them, combine them with these dyes, easy peasy. But yeah, it's basically just at the end of the day trying to make the most out of these dyes, or at least a dye type. So when we had metallic purple as the best in slot dye for the 80 only with dyes, basically you can take any purple dye and it'll just be a +1 rather than a +2, if that makes sense, in terms of the internal scoring system to make up the points. So one item and a few dyes is all you really need. So obviously gloom purple, very easily accessible. You can get this from low-level city-state dye merchants. In fact, let's show you one on screen. This is Nana Bay in Uldar's Sapphire Avenue Exchange. There's on the map, so you can see where she is, and scroll all the way down to the bottom of her list and you'll be able to find that very cheaply. Get 2 of those dyes. Soot black, obviously very easy to obtain. Combine those as I have done here and you will get an 80 score guaranteed, which is all you need for the 60,000 plus MGP. Obviously it is a plus because if you have yourselves the jackpot to buff on in a free company, then you will get an additional amount of XP, or MGP, and of course you will also get an additional amount if you're using your own personal buffs. Anyway, that's that video for today. Link in the description of this video will take you to the Reddit thread where this is theorized each and every week by the community. Thank you so much, enjoy your Friday, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.